This is going to be really super short because I read American King by Sierra Simone. And if you didn't know by now, this was our book club episode in December. It is a two-part episode with Haley. Here's what I'm going to say about this book. This book wrecked me. Like legitimate sobbing, keening agony. And it's because I felt for these characters so much, and I wept for them and everything that they went through. Not that just the sadness, but also the joy and the growth and the beauty of this relationship. This trilogy is phenomenal. And if you didn't know that, I'm so excited I get to tell you that. If you want to listen to our episode and you haven't read the series, we will spoil the ever loving shit out of it. I highly recommend that you at least read American Queen, because much of what happens in American Prince and American King is built on what we read and discover in American Queen. And y'all, it's so it's so good. Greer, Ash, and Embry. This is a it's a King Arthur retelling in the best way. It is a reimagining of this story and of this relationship between the three of these figures. And I can't shrink it into a short video. That's why I did a two-part episode on the goddamn trilogy. You just got to go listen to it. I read A Hunger Like No Other by Kresley Cole. Kresley Cole is one of the PNR writer that has been writing for many, many years, and I missed her. I missed her at the start of my PNR journey. Who knows why? Who knows why, but I am rectifying it. This is the official book one of the Immortals After Dark series by Kresley Cole. It is getting a revamp. These books are being re-released with reimagined covers, and I am so happy for her. I'm very excited because there have been these series that have existed for years, and either they're done or you don't want to go and read so many books. That's wrong. You're wrong. You should read all the books. But I'm excited that they're getting this new life and this new hype behind them. You should read The Warlord Wants Forever, which is the prequel novella to this book. I read it, and while I didn't love it as a novella, I'm liking it more that I read this book. So this book takes place right around the same time as The Warlord Wants Forever, and it's set up in that novella. It is Emma and Lachlan, and what we learned at the end of the novella is that Emma is a half Valkyrie, half vampire. She's 70 years old, but she is a child for them, and they've been protecting her. Emma is in Paris studying. She's searching for answers to her parentage. She knows her mother was a Valkyrie. She does not know what vampire sired her or the circumstances of her birth. While there, Lachlan, this Lykae, this shifter, this wolf, comes upon her and essentially kidnaps her. He's been imprisoned under the streets of Paris, and he smells her from deep down, breaks free of these bonds that have held him for 150 years, and searches her out. He knows she's his mate. Unfortunately, he's been held by vampires, so when he discovers that his mate is half vampire, he's not super thrilled. And he basically just says, sorry, girl, I'm holding you hostage and you have to stay with me until the next full moon. Now, he knows that she is his mate. He has that feeling. He understands that. She doesn't. But there are these weird moments that I feel like she's been blooded, but we don't get that spoken aloud. She's attracted to him in the way she's never been to anyone else before. She has an orgasm with him, which she's never had even by her own hand. She's never wanted to. And so these things remind me a lot of when Nikolai was blooded in that first novella, but they're never stated. What's confusing is she doesn't actively feel this draw, passion for Lachlan the way that he seems to for her. So a lot of Lachlan's obsessive fated mates compulsions feel creepy when their recipient, our FMC, doesn't have those same impulses. That's something that I don't love. It was the same in The Warlord Wants Forever, where we had a really obsessed MMC and an FMC that said no, and it wasn't respected. I don't love it. In this tale, it's mainly focused on the two of them. We get a little bit more beef, a little bit more a little bit more of the world and of these characters. We meet them more. We understand the lore, the paranormal, supernatural creatures of this PNR world a little bit better. It felt really fast. It felt very light and quick, kind of in a way I wasn't expecting. I didn't highlight a ton in this. There doesn't seem, I don't mind a dub con situation when it's two people and they're both acknowledging this fated mates attraction situation. But it felt like trying to be that kind of dub con, but it was only one-sided. So Lachlan was very aggressive. I'm not mad about this. I'm very excited to get into this series. I feel like it's going to take me a little bit of time to really love what's coming next. And the good thing about this series is it's it's all out. They're interconnected standalones that are all out. I don't have to wait years for what's coming next. I don't have to, you know, decide, oh, am I gonna pre-order? No, they're all available now. So that makes me want to continue with this series in a way that I might not if this were how I were feeling about a brand new series. That sounds so not excited, but I have to tell you the next book is already downloaded onto my e-reader. So there you go. Oh man, How My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Meghan Quinn. So this is my second Meghan Quinn book. I read one of her hockey books and then I went to see her because I she was in town. I wanted to see her. It was a great event, super awesome event. But she convinced me to listen to this on audiobook again. I was planning on reading this as a physical book, but she raved about her audiobook cast so much that I decided to get the audiobook and listen to it that way and absorb it that way. Now, having said that, all of the things that happen with me via audiobook apply to this. So I'm not going to get into that. Maybe I'll just make a video, pin it to the top, like how Jace feels about audiobooks and why we're working on it. Royal We is working on it, but the cast was great. I am not 100% sure who did all the voices because there was a narrator, Shane East, who is like the audiobook narrator, love of my life. Sorry, everyone else, but Shane East has a special place for something completely not romance related. And then there were two main characters and two more narrators that I thought were going to do all the supportive characters, but I honestly couldn't tell the difference, especially for Cindy, for the aunt. I don't know who voiced her, and that confused me. I thought it was the main character female narrator when I would have, anyway, not the point. The other thing that made this maybe not the best book for me to listen to as an audiobook is I have never read How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I'm so sorry. No, I've never read it and I have no emotional attachment to it. And at the event, she mentioned that there was a lot that she drew from that story and I don't know it. I don't know it at all. So I have a feeling there were things that were lost on me because I couldn't think and go, oh, like in the book, in the story, that thing happened. No idea. I have no frame of reference at all for what was going on. But here we are. I read it anyway. This is a enemies slash rivals to lover story. It takes place in Kringleton. You've got Cole and Story. Cole and Story knew each other when they were kids. Cole lives there. Story's great aunt Cindy lives there. Story and her sister Taryn come to Cindy's house for Christmas to take care of her after she breaks her hip. And Cole is enraged because of a thing Cindy, God, why do I keep calling her Cindy? Because of a thing Story said when she was like 18 to him. It's been 10 years since they've seen each other. There is a contest in the town to win the most Christmas spirity award person thing, and Cindy the aunt enters Story into it. Cole gets mad about that, so he enters himself into this contest and they both get picked as contestants to become the most Christmassy person. So there's a lot of forced proximity, working against each other to win this competition. They spend time together because they have to. They're also kind of next door neighbors. And eventually, all of the things that drove them apart, that Cole was angry about, that Story wasn't sure of, is worked out. And then there's this weird fake dating situation where in order to spend time to with each other or just throw each other off, they decide to fake date for the town, but then they actually start real dating. So then they're fake dating for just her family, who she doesn't want to know is actually dating him, and but real dating for each other and for the town. I'm not 100% sure. There's a very lovely grand gesture at the end. The thing that I've noticed about the Meghan Quinn book that I read and this one is it goes from rom-com to spice real fast, real fast. Everyone knows, you might have heard that there's a candy cane scene. The candy cane is fine. Don't put things with sugar in places that they shouldn't be. That's my opinion. But there's a thing that happens. There's some bondage play in the area. You should have had scissors, but you know what? We're gonna go with, like, it goes way spicier than I think it will for how rom-commy they feel at the beginning of these stories. And I am kind of tickled and delighted, but it's only my second Meghan Quinn, so I'm not sure if this is just the ones I've read or if this is consistent throughout her stories. She's got a lot of them. If you are a big Meghan Quinn fan, what do you think I should continue with? Is it the hockey? Should I go into the bridesmaid thing? There are a couple other series that she has as well. I'm very curious what y'all think I should read next. Historical rom-com. I read Ne'er-Do-Well by Alexandra Vasti. It is, as I said, historical romance. It takes place in 1815. We have Peter and Selena. Peter is an unlikely duke. He was way far down the inheritance line. He was the son of the third son of the duke, and then everybody above him dies. Napoleon, what are you going to do? And he inherits this dukedom. Once he inherited, he discovered that his father had several children out of wedlock, young children, and he is determined to care for them. Unfortunately, because they were out of wedlock, there is no acknowledgement that these children are related to him, that they're his half siblings. And so he's fighting the court system to try and get custody of these two half siblings. He wants to give them a better life. He has money, he has prestige, he wants to give them what he never had for lots of family reasons. Selena is the sister of a duke. She and her twin brother, in a very similar situation, were raised essentially by their older brother, the duke, when their father passed away. Their mother died when they were very young, and when her father passed, her older brother, he was only 20 when their father passed, took on the raising of Selena and her twin Will. When she learns of Peter's quest to get custody of his siblings, she is determined to help him. And she feels the best way to help him is to make him a very appealing candidate for guardianship. And that means marriage. Yeah, you guessed it. So she makes a list of eligible bachelorettes and decides, hey, I'm going to set you up with all of them, not listing herself, even though she thinks he's cute. He also thinks she's cute. There is a very funny scenario and couple incidents of him going on what are essentially dates with these women and discovering, I don't have chemistry for you, and trying really hard not to have chemistry and feelings for her. Now, part of the reason why Selena herself is not offering up her hand in marriage is because, one, she didn't think about it, but two, I love this. This was, I think, one of the best parts of this story. I mean, it's so unique. Is Selena started a library, a private library. They're not uncommon, but what is uncommon is she has this thing called the Venus Catalog, which is erotic and instructional material, and it's for women because she knows secondhand one of her dear friends didn't know what sex was, accidentally had sex, because you accidentally have sex when you don't know what it is, got pregnant out of wedlock, was left by the dude who took her virginity, and shunned from her family. And Selena realized, oh my gosh, I've been so sheltered. I have been kept in the dark of things that are really important, and I don't want any other woman, any other girl, really girls, to suffer like this. So I'm going to give them the resources they need to know what they need to know so that they can't be taken advantage of in this way again. Now, of course, that's hugely scandalous, big deal. And she knows at some point that someone's going to find out about her. She can't have this secret forever. But because of that secret, she feels like she is not a good candidate to be a wife to Peter. Unfortunately, there's just too much chemistry, and they end up in a compromising position. And oh no, they have to get married. So it's a secretly, not secretly marriage of convenience because they both want each other, but they accidentally got caught making out and now they have to get me. It's great. One of the things that I think is frustrating and that Selena has to learn is that she's not alone. And so often, especially with women, especially with sex, is nobody talks about anything. And so you feel like you're alone in your questions and your quandaries. How do you get good information or even good information about sex and sexuality? And so she's done this thing where she really has kept the people who know about it very, very small. Yes, lots of women use the Venus catalog, but no one knows it's her. She's alone in this understanding. And Peter is also alone. He's never had someone to care for. He's never had someone to care about him in this way. And he loves her. He's very passionate and he does things without thinking. And yeah, that includes making out with Selena, but it works between them. He is so sure of what he wants and his determination to get it, and he will not let her go. He will not let her take the fall. He's so supportive and loves her through this. There were a lot of great moments in this book, and it was such a wonderful, lovely rom-com, and the whole women educating women about sex and sexuality, that's near and dear to my heart. So it ticked so many boxes for me. I read Technically Speaking by Michael Elliott, or I should say, I listened to it. I saw a video on it, and when I heard Queen Latifah, I went, yeah, absolutely. I want to listen to an audiobook story with the full cast, including Queen Latifah. She is not the main narrator, she is a side character, but every single time her voice came on, I was so happy. It's a wonderful voice to listen to. This is a very short audio. I think it's audio only. It's an Audible Plus thing. Sorry. I know. I know. This is a Black love story and I wanted to listen to it. It's narrated by a predominantly, I'm assuming, Black cast. It's a Black love story. This is a Black love story, but it doesn't really feel like a romance. And I think part of it is just that it's so short. So you have V, who works in the commissary of a tech company. She's going to school part-time for engineering, getting her degree through hijinks. The hijinks are the most annoying part to me because I don't like that kind of awkward tension of, oh my gosh, you're hiding your identity. Signs up to present an idea to this tech company in their open call for ideas. She gets someone else's ID who's on maternity leave and she says, you know what, I'll take what is my senior project for my degree and I'll present it to this company, and it's chosen. So she wins this prize, and part of the prize is not only prize money, but the chance to develop your idea into something. And so suddenly she's working under this assumed name with the CEO, Troy. Troy is engaged to the COO. They keep pushing off the wedding or not planning the wedding. I'm not 100% sure. And they go closer, but it doesn't. I feel like we missed out on their actual closeness. It felt so fast. Marcus, the CFO, who's also Troy's best friend, asks V out and they go on a couple dates, but then they don't date. And that it just, I, I don't, I almost didn't need the love story. Like, it just felt too fast for any love story to be really developing. But as you can imagine, with any sort of hidden identity, secret, lie situation, it blows up in all of their faces. The best part about this was the full cast. They were great narrators. I just wish we had another 30 to 45 minutes of text to make this story really juicy, to get it to a believable point of what's going on. It never felt, I mean, in a good way, V and Troy never felt like crossed any boundaries while they were working together. They never felt, oh, your hand is lingering. You're all these late nights at the office. You look so beautiful. It didn't feel like that. And with audio and with an audiobook performance like this, we're not getting into their heads, so we can't even see those thoughts happening. So I wish we had about 45 minutes more of interaction to make their love story believable to me. Do I think it was bad? No, it wasn't bad. I just wanted more. Did it help me add one more book to my reading goal? Absolutely. So if you're looking for more books or shorter audio stories, this one is technically a romance. There is an HEA, and it's a very well performed one. This is No Rest for the Wicked, book 2 officially in the Immortals After Dark series by Kresley Cole. Now, this book is out. It has been out for many, many years, but it is being re-released with a new cover in 2025. I did not read the Immortals After Dark series when they came out. I have recently read the prequel novella, The Warlord Wants Forever, and book number 1, A Hunger Like No Other. So if you haven't listened to my reviews on those, go back, pause, find them. They exist. They are in the ether of the internet. But this is the one where I feel like I'm finally getting a handle on Kresley Cole's writing style and her choices. I am now familiar enough with the lore, the creatures, the way that they work in this world, that I don't have to think about it. I don't have to reference the definitions at the beginning of the book nearly as much. This story is really set up by the first two. So while these seem to be interconnected standalones, I don't believe you could read this without reading the novella or book 1 and have a good understanding of what's going on. We've got Kaderin and Sebastian. Kaderin is one of the Valkyrie, and we've met her in the first 2 stories. She is called Kaderin the Cold-Hearted because she has been blessed or cursed, depending on how you look at it, with not being able to feel. She lost her sisters years ago. We're talking over 1,000 years ago, and in that grief, she was given a blessing or curse to not feel anything. So she's incredibly cold, calculating, not so much fun to be around, and we've seen her in the sidelines of the first 2 stories. The MMC is Sebastian, who is the brother to Nikolai from the novella. Yeah, see, you do need to read them in order. Nikolai we met, and there's a history there, but let's not get into it. One of the things that Kaderin does is she takes out vampires. She hates all vampires, and when someone says they need a vampire killed, they call her. So this village, who has not been harmed at all by a vampire, suddenly goes, oh my gosh, there's a vampire living in the castle, we're scared. Kaderin, you should come and kill it. So Kaderin shows up, walks into the castle. Sebastian, who has been living for hundreds of years, miserable because he didn't want to be a vampire in the first place, doesn't want to interact in the world in this way, is so mad at his brother living like a hermit, goes, yeah, absolutely kill me. And she can't. And then suddenly he is blooded, which means she is his bride, aka his mates. All of the terms apply. So suddenly Sebastian goes from, yeah, absolutely kill me, I have nothing to live for, to you're my bride and you're all I'm gonna live for. Kaderin is like, no, sir, except suddenly I'm attracted to you. Let's make out. Wait, I feel things. I'm going to run away. It's very strange. I'm not loving the way that the Valkyries seem to be reacting to their MMCs. There's a lot of no thank you, but all the MMCs in these books have a bride or a mate, and so they are incredibly focused. So it's a lot of yes, 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 and not taking their nose seriously. But I'm now used to it. It's the third story that I've read that's like that. So I think this is just the shtick, and I can suspend my disbelief and go with the flow. Kaderin takes part in this thing called the Hive, which is a lore amazing race kind of thing. You have to collect objects and get points and fight not to the death. You're not allowed to kill anybody, but you're allowed to maim them and seriously hurt them. And she has won every single time for like 1,000 years. Like 1,000 years. She's won every single one of them. She enters. Sebastian follows her, decides to enter too, and says, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you do this thing so you love me. And that's it. They work together, or fight working together in Kaderin's case, to achieve her goal of winning the high. It also gave us a really nice look into the world of the lore. We met a few more creatures. We got a different cast of characters. And at the end of the day, this is a pretty easy love story. The fighting against the fated mate situation, I don't love, because the best part about a fated mate situation is that both parties are drawn and can't resist the pull. All 3 women in these stories resist it pretty hard. They're pretty good at resisting. They're good at saying no, and these MMCs just keep coming, which gives me a little bit of an ick factor, if I'm being quite honest. Is it enough that I'm not going to read these books anymore? It does make for some very awkward moments when it comes to their intimacy. It's not Dub Con, but it's just weird to me. So I'm going to keep going because they're all out. I don't have to wait. It's not like I have to wait a year for the next book. I can just go get it. I can just go get it. And I think I want to keep going.